So I'm not sure what episode of podcast this is. It's probably 11, 12, something like that. This is starting to be too hard. And what I mean by too hard, not because of what I'm talking about is hard, it's because doing this podcast thing is hard. It's a pain in the neck. And I think I'm going to stop worrying about what this looks like. I don't care if YouTube cares. And I really don't care if I got 1 million listeners. It's not important. And that's what's important is that I put out what needs to be put out. And if anyone hears it, cool. And if not, cool. So I got my little outline right there. I got the things I want to say. And it's going to be crunchy from here on. I'm going to run my mouth for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then after that, I'm out. And hopefully you get a little something out of it, because I got other things to talk about next week, because this online marketing thing is needlessly difficult for people. So here we go. Oh yeah, intro. Hey, how you doing? It's Chris, your friendly neighborhood internet Sherpa, back again with another one of those tips on how to bring bodies to the door, put cheeks in the seats, and of course, build your list. Now let me ask you a question. Here we go. You ever sit down, literally what I'm talking about, if you ever sit down in front of the computer to do marketing, maybe you're going to do some social media, or you're going to do a blog post, or you're going to do something online so that you can do your marketing thing. And then you stare at the screen and nothing. Crickets. You're just like, I got nothing. Chances are is because you're not sure what it is you're supposed to be doing. And that's the problem. Now, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to make it as simple as I possibly can, because this is not rocket science. A couple episodes again, I told you that marketing has not changed since the Stone Age, since that first person chiseled on that little stone and held it up and said, hey, we got stones over here, or something else corny like that. It's been the same. Since before the internet, it's been the same. Since before AI, it's been the same. Nothing's changed. So here's the deal. You're doing your online thing, right? It breaks down to two things. You're either having a conversation with people you haven't met yet, or you're trying to keep that conversation going with people you have. That's it. Everything after that is gravy. Percolate on that for a second. Check out my notes. Oh yeah. So here's the problem. You ever go online because you're like, hey, what's the new hotness? And you see all these cool tools out there. Or you see AI is blowing up all over the place. And I mean blowing up. Every second you look up, there's new hotness.ai showing up. And you're like, what does this cool thing do? And what does that cool thing does? And everybody who's selling it or pushing it in front of you, you're like, you need to get this AI. Or back in the day, well, it's not really back in the day, a little earlier before AI showed up, and when you could stick anything in front of anybody and they go, cool. Do you remember, have you ever come across what they call the packs, where you would buy a stack of 50 Instagram images or things, and you could just put them online, sell them to them, and you go fill out your feed. That way you don't have to think it up. Next thing you know, spend that money, do 2 or 3, and you're like, oh, this isn't working. That's the way it works. So you've got all kinds of people out there trying to sell you the what. What do you need to do or to buy to do this thing? To post online, to put great content, to make video, to do all this stuff. What do you need from me that I can sell you to do what you're trying to do online? Well, here's the problem. When you're listening to those folks who have the largest or loudest voices online, they're not lying to you. They're just telling you the part that makes sense to them, meaning you need this because what you're trying to do would be easier with this. The part that they're relying on you to do is pay attention to what it is that you're trying to do. And if you're new to the game, and most people are new at some point, You're going to wander in the wilderness for a long time listening to people who are selling you things, who are putting themselves up as coaches, and forgetting to tell you to pay attention to the most important thing. And what is the most important thing? Say it with me. Starting a conversation with people you haven't met yet, keeping a conversation going with people that you have. After that, everything's gravy. Now, when I started this podcast, I said there's 4 things that are happening online that you have to pay attention to. It was attention, conversion, consistency, and follow-up. Those are the 4 things. Everything falls in that bucket. But what you're trying to do with all that still comes down to just 2 things. Start a conversation with people you haven't met yet. Keep a conversation going with folks that you have. I dare you. Come up with something else. I dare you. What you got? What you got? I'll wait. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to look at my notes. Hit the what thing? Yeah. Because all you're doing is having conversations. So at some point in these podcasts, I think I touched on it last time, the last episode, which was 2 freaking weeks ago, because doing podcasts is hard, but just having this conversation, this is easy. Podcasting is hard, or production is hard. So again, from now on, screw production. I'm just going to holler at you. Anyway, the thing you're trying to do is have conversations. And a couple of weeks ago, I think I hit this thing about the difference between just talking at someone and trying to establish preference, trying to make a connection. The difference between the content that you put out there, the things that you're throwing out online that generate attention, which is pretty much for the algorithms, and the things that you're throwing out there that is for the people who you're trying to feel a certain some way about you. It's 2 different types of content, it serves 2 different purposes. In some cases, they can overlap, but the bottom line is there's 2 different things going on there. But underneath all that, it still comes back to those 2 things. Starting a conversation with people that you haven't met yet, keeping the conversation going with folks that you have. That's it. All right, so let's see. Let me hit that. Still having conversations. Yeah, I guess that is an important one. So this might be a short episode. If it is, I do apologize. Not really, but you know what I mean. Let's talk about those conversations. When you are on certain platforms, certain conversations make more sense than others. Let's just take a look at not 2 platforms, but 2 different conversations. If you haven't met someone, if you're not in a relationship with them, they haven't sat in your chair, you haven't kicked the willy bobo with them before they sat in your chair, you're not nice like that. Then chances are, if they came across you, they're in discover something mode. Something you do is interesting to them. All right, cool. Well, how are you going to talk to that person? What kind of conversation are you having with them? You're not having I'm taking you for granted, you're my bestie, we can hang that. You're not having that kind of conversation because you're not nice like that yet. You're having I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I guess I'll hit this and then get back around to where I was trying to go. You're having the let me help you figure it out conversation. And that's the conversation looks a little different than, hey, we know a thing or 2, let's chop it up. It's a different way of having a conversation. So let me see if I can break this down. This is a little black and white, which nothing on the internet is black and white, but it'll help me have this conversation, try and get this thought across to you. If someone lands on your website, you got this teeny tiny website, you got a speck on the internet, you live on a cul-de-sac, as I like to say. Translation, no one's driving through your street to get somewhere else. If they're sitting on your website, they came to your website. And if they look around and bounce, that means that, oops, wrong street. Well, let's assume that they did something, they typed something into Google or they found you somewhere else and they came to your website because they wanted to see what you had going on. They want to peep your game, see what you're holding. Well, that person doesn't know you yet. So the stuff you put on your website is for those people. It's that kind of a conversation. It's let me help you understand what it is that you don't understand, which is different from people who bump into you, say, on social media, on the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Facebooks of the world. Because first off, if they bump into you over there, if they're not following you a la TikTok, a la Facebook, did I say TikTok? Nobody follows nobody on TikTok. They do, but not like on Instagram, you know what I mean. Anyway, if they see you over there, they're not really shopping for services. Okay, some people shop for services, but by and large, that's not really what happens over on Instagram. When they see you, they're looking to have a different conversation. They're looking to keep it light. They're looking to see the lighter side of you. So the content that you throw over on your website, a little different than the content you throw over on the gram. The type of conversation that you're having, the audience that you're talking to. And this is one of those things, if you don't know who you're talking to, chances are you're either talking past them or whatever you're saying is just not hitting, because you got to talk on the frequency that they're listening on. I love saying that phrase. One, it makes me feel smart about me, but it's really a cool way of saying it. You can't go all academic on someone who's just trying to be, lighthearted, and you better not go lighthearted on someone who's trying to dig into the weeds. Pay attention to who you're talking to. Pay attention to the conversation that you're having. Make it make sense. That's the big thing. Let's see if I hit it all. Yeah. It's funny. I was like, okay, let me give you a takeaway, and the takeaway is not going to be hard. What I want you to do is, wherever you post your content, wherever you put your stuff online, go take a look at the last 3 or 4 things that you posted up there. And it's going to be addressing one of 3 groups of people, or it's going to be one of 3 types of content. It's going to be stuff that's really pretty good for people who you haven't started a conversation with yet. Those people right there, folks that don't know you, that you're trying to get to know a little something about you. Or it's going to be ideal or pretty much anchored for people who you do have a relationship. They know something about you. You've kicked it back and forth a couple times, maybe a comment, a like, something. They're not new to this. They've seen you. So maybe it's that type of content. And then there's that third piece of content. It don't mean nothing to nobody. It's just noise. Just stuff you threw out there that's not accomplishing a darn thing. Take a look and see if you can't start putting a method to the madness. Make it make sense. What you're putting out, you don't even have to put out more of what you're putting out. I mean, if you're posting on a regular basis, because consistency, then if you're posting on a consistent basis, just make sure it makes sense to who you're trying to talk to. And even if you're not sure which platform to put it on, it don't matter. Just make sure you're sure about the conversation you're trying to have. Like right now, this conversation right now, this is for folks that don't know me. I mean, I know I'm talking to you kind of like we do know each other a little bit, and I'm sure some of my besties are going to look at this and chuckle because they know me. But I'm trying to get you smart on what you're supposed to be doing out there, even if we never get together. If you never check out any of the stuff I got or nothing like that, if you watch this and you get smart about what you're supposed to be doing, I've accomplished what I'm shooting for. So that's the bottom line. You're doing 3 things online. You're literally doing 3 things online. I saw a note that tickled me. You're either starting a conversation, continuing a conversation, or you're just making noise. The goal is to not just make noise. All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to call it quits for that for right now. This is a little bit sloppy, but I do sloppy. And I think you get where I'm going. You're only doing 2 things online. Well, 3 if you're just making noise. Don't make noise. Do something. All right. Let's see. Okay. This is a podcast, so I got to do the plug thing. If you like how I'm kicking it, subscribe. If you think it's kind of interesting, the stuff I talked about, like. If you don't, it'll be all right. It's not like I'm not going to do this again next week. And if you really want to chop it up with me, you want to get together, hit me up on my voicemail line. Talk to my AI. It's a little long-winded right now, so I got to adjust it. But yeah, if you're not sure how those things work, hit me up, 702-582-6708. It's one of the things I do for my peeps, and I try not to charge you an arm and a leg. Ooh, that was a plug. Yes, it was. All right, let me get out of here. I will see you next week. 3 things. Start a conversation, continue a conversation, or you're just making noise. Don't just be making noise. I'll see you later. That was a whole lot more fun than all the other ones. I'm going to do that more often.